Most people believe speaking up is how you take control of a room. Opposite is true. Silence holds power. Picture two people locked in a tense, charged conversation.
The first person is talking, filling every gap, every silence, defending every point before it is even challenged or questioned. Their voice rises slightly as the other person's face stays neutral. The more they say, the smaller the room makes them. Now, picture the second person, same conversation. They only listen. Then they pause, 3 seconds of silence that feel like 10. And when they finally speak, just one sentence, nothing more. The room leans in, because silence taught the room something. This person does not speak unless what they say was worth hearing. Nobody taught the first person to be loud. It simply happened. Nobody taught the second person to be quiet. It was chosen.
That the person who speaks most is the person who knows most. Every one of those lessons was wrong. And the rooms you have lost, the conversations that slipped sideways, the moments where you felt the ground shift under you, many of them were lost in the exact moment you decided to fill the silence. The strongest person in the room is the one who doesn't need the room. And nowhere is that more visible or more powerful than in what they choose not to say.
The rule: silence is not empty. Silence is pressure. Most people treat silence as a problem to solve, a gap to fill, an awkward space that polite people are supposed to close. What they never realize is that the person who fills the silence first has just handed over something they cannot get back. Picture a negotiation. 2 people. A number has been offered. It sits on the table between them. One person is already uncomfortable with the quiet. Their mouth opens. They are starting to adjust, explaining why the number makes sense, offering context, suggesting alternatives. Their hands are moving. Their voice has a slightly different quality now, not confident, searching. The other person has not moved. They are looking at the table, breathing at a normal pace. They have not said a single word. And they are winning. Here is the mechanism. Silence creates pressure. Pressure demands relief. And the first person to seek relief hands control to the person who waited. The moment you fill the silence, you reveal your discomfort with it, and discomfort is information. It tells the other person, this person needs resolution more than I do. That need is the lever, and a lever, once visible, will be used. Silence is not the absence of power. Silence is where power lives quietly, until it decides to move. Epictetus said it in the simplest terms he could find. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we may listen twice as much as we speak. He did not say this as etiquette advice. He said it as a law of power. A man who speaks less reveals less. A man who reveals less controls more. And a man who controls his own disclosure controls the room, without the room ever realizing it was being controlled. Picture a man named Daniel. 12 years in corporate sales. Sharp, prepared, better on his material than anyone in the building. And for 12 years, he lost deals in the silence after the pitch. The client would go quiet, considering. And Daniel would read that silence as rejection, so he would move. He would speak. He would add one more reason, one more reassurance, one more piece of evidence that the deal made sense.
And every time he moved, he showed the client exactly how much he needed the yes. The client felt it. And a client who feels your need has no reason to rush. Daniel spent 3 months learning to sit in silence after a pitch, to let it breathe, to let the client carry it. The first time he did it, the silence lasted 9 seconds. It felt like 9 minutes. The client spoke first, said yes. The deal was not better. The pitch was not different. The silence was. Silence is not empty. Silence is pressure. And pressure, held long enough, moves everything.
Picture those two people again. The first person is still talking, still filling every gap, still treating silence like a problem their words are supposed to solve. The room is listening, but barely, because a voice that never stops becomes background noise. It loses its edges. It loses the weight that comes from being chosen. The second person has spoken 3 times. Each time, the room went quiet. Not because they demanded it, because the room learned that when this person speaks, something worth hearing is about to arrive. Same room, same conversation. One person owns it, the other is in it. The strongest person in the room is the one who does not need the room. And nothing demonstrates that more cleanly, more visibly, more immediately than what a person does when the room goes quiet. The person who needs the room fills the silence. The person who owns the room lets it breathe. Marcus Aurelius ruled the most powerful empire on earth. His private journal contains thousands of words he wrote to himself. To the world, he gave silence, patience, the long pause before the decision. His words, when they came, carried the weight of everything he had not said before them. 2,000 years later, those private words outlasted the empire, because they were chosen, not performed. You are not a person who needs to fill the room. You are a person who was taught that empty space is your responsibility to repair. It is not. The space is not yours to fill. It is yours to hold. Picture the next silence, the next pause that wants to pull words out of you before they are ready. Picture your hands still, your face steady, the room waiting. Let it wait. The sentence that comes from silence carries more than the sentence that comes from fear of it. Speak less, mean more. Own the quiet.